What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing some more Commander because of the MTGO, I don't know what to call it, access to every card event. We're taking full advantage of that. So today I whipped up Mogis, God of Slaughter. Not a card you hear about talked about a lot in EDH circles, but a really fun, what they call group slug card. I'll get to that in a sec. A little bit first, the event ends on MTGO tomorrow morning, I believe. But if you, I guess by the time you're watching this video, it'll be over. But if you haven't played on MTGO or you're thinking about maybe playing different formats that don't exist on Arena, I recommend checking out MTGO. It's very cheap to get involved. It's not as flashy, as Magic the Gathering Arena with all the cool, animations and cards that light up and stuff. It looks like a game from 2002, which it basically is, but you get all the functionality of playing Commander Online, Vintage, Modern, all that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend you check it out. And they have a way better support system, and they'll do events like this where I guess they made they're in order to apologize to the people that use the client, because I guess they had to come in and do some unexpected maintenance. They allowed everyone who has the client to have all the cards in the game for free. Just for a couple days, but still something I have a hard time imagining Magic the Gathering Arena doing. So, if you like that kind of stuff, I highly recommend you check out MTGO. Anyway, onto the deck. Mogis, so Group Slug. So this is a 4-mana Rakdos legendary enchantment creature god. This is part of that god cycle where they're indestructible, and they turn into creatures if your devotion to the color or guild gets high enough. So Mogis is indestructible. As long as your devotion to black and red is less than 7, Mogis isn't a creature, right? So this comes down as an indestructible enchantment, which is fine with us. As long as, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogis deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. So the point of this deck is to just do a bunch of damage to our opponents. I think we have maybe 5 creatures in this deck. It's all enchantments and board wipes and really, really disgusting Rakdos effects. So you know it's right up your boy's alley, because this is my gym jam. So we'll go through the cards real quick. Not every single one, just the key ones. Obviously you see Mana Crypt there. Curse of Opulence. This is a really funny 1-mana red curse. So we enchant a player, probably the player that's ahead the most, or maybe even someone that's just vulnerable. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, create a gold token, which is the same as a treasure token. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. So whenever we make it so that we target one player, whenever any player attacks that player that we cursed, they make a treasure and we make a treasure. So we get value if our opponents attack them, even if we don't, right? So this puts a target on someone, and all of a sudden everyone wants to swing into that player because everyone wants free treasures, right? Vandal Blast, destroy all artifacts if we overload it. Just your casual ramp here. Rakdos Charm is really funny against heavy creature strategies. There's some good modes on this, but the one that we care about the most is each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Obviously, we don't really have any creatures, so we're breaking the symmetry of this card. So if someone has a board full of tokens, let's say they have 20 tokens, all of a sudden this card does 20 damage to their face. Chaos Warp, Staple, with just a bunch of removal. Acidic Soil deals 1 damage to each player for each land he or she controls. Deflecting Swat, change the target of a spell. Tainted Remedy, if an opponent would gain life, they'd lose that much life instead. So even if they try to gain life, they actually end up losing life. Spell Shock, whenever a player successfully casts a spell, Spell Shock deals 2 damage to him or her. So you can see, we're just like making it so that no matter what our opponents do, they're going to take damage and die super fast. Lethal Vapors is one of my favorite cards in this deck. Whenever a creature comes into play, destroy it. So pay 0 mana, destroy Lethal Vapors, you skip your next turn. Any player may play this ability. So people can get out of this effect, but they have to skip their turn. And who wants to do that in Commander, right? But eventually people are going to have to destroy this effect, but who's going to skip their turn to do it, right? No Mercy. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, Mana Barbs deals 1 damage to him or her. One of my favorite cards, Cardor, basically goads all our opponent's creatures. So this comes down, ETBs, all of our opponent's creatures are goaded. So for 1 turn cycle, they all attack each other and they don't attack us. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Little incremental life gain for us. More removal. This is a really funny one. Impulsive maneuvers. Whenever a creature attacks, flip a coin. If you win the flip, the next time that creature would deal damage this turn, deal double that damage instead. If you would lose the flip, the next time that creature would deal combat damage, prevent that damage. So basically, you flip a coin, it either deals double damage or no damage, and so it makes it really hard for people to attack people because they don't know whether their creatures are going to deal damage or not. Now, what's key is that their creature doesn't deal damage, but let's say their creature gets blocked by someone else's creature, that creature still deals damage to their creature. So it only prevents the damage from the creature attacking, not the creature blocking. So it makes it really risky for people to attack. Tainted Aether. Whenever a creature comes into play, its controller sacrifices a creature or land. War's Toil. Whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, tap all lands that player controls. If a this works well with Mana Barbs, obviously. If a creature an opponent controls attacks, all creatures that opponent controls attacks at Fable. So basically goads all their creatures. Not goad, but it makes them attack with all. Spreading Plague. Whenever a creature comes into play, destroy all other creatures that share a color with it. So this, if someone plays a blue creature, you destroy all other blue creatures. They play a green creature, destroy all other green creatures. And it says comes into play, not cast. So if they have a token that's green come into play, it still activates this effect. Polluted Bonds. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player loses 2 life and we gain 2 life. Grey Merchant of Asphodel. I love decks that can take advantage of Gary. This is definitely one. We'll have a bunch of Devotion to Black. ETBs. This card is especially disgusting in Commander. Each opponent loses X life, where X is your Devotion to Black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So let's say this comes down and we have 15 Devotion to Black. Each opponent loses 15 life and we gain 45 life. Exquisite Blood, awesome in this deck. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. We aren't playing combo Exquisite Blood. This is purely in here to take advantage of all the damage we're doing. So we're not trying to combo with this deck. We want the game to be long and painful. We don't want it to end super fast. We're not trying to combo off. Possibility Storm, one of my favorite chaos cards in this deck. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it, then exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a card that shares a card type with it. That player may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then he or she puts all cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of their library. So basically, if I cast an enchantment, instead of that enchantment resolving, what happens is I then exile cards from the top of my library until I find another enchantment and I get to cast that. I mean, I guess I could choose not to, but then it goes into exile. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get all these, pain enchantments out and then cast Possibility Storm. And then when someone tries to target our stuff, or they try to cast an mass enchantment removal, well, that card gets shuffled back in their deck, and then they have to exile cards from the top of the library until they find another sorcery, which could be a Rampant Growth, right? So it makes it pretty much impossible for them to interact with anything on the board reliably. Bolas' Citadel. We have Aetherflux Reservoir in here. That is the only combo we have, but it's not even really a combo. It's just a super value engine. Just dump a bunch of stuff on the battlefield, gain a bunch of life. Havoc Festival. Players can't gain life at the beginning of each player's upkeep. That player loses half his or her life total rounded up. Wound Reflection. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn, so it doubles all the damage we're doing. Virtue of Persistence is a targeted removal spell, but obviously the backside, the enchantment side, or maybe that's the front side. I don't know how you read that. Maybe it's the front side. The enchantment side becomes a reanimation spell every single upkeep. So we can, of all the stuff we're gonna kill with all our board wipes and all these enchantment, removal effects, we can then take those creatures that die and we can put them on the battlefield under our control. Blasphemous Act. And then to top off the whole deck, Obliterate. I normally never play effects like this, but in this deck, it is actually a viable win con. So Obliterate. 8 mana, red sorcery. It can't be countered, so there's no stopping this. Destroy all artifacts, creatures, and lands. They can't be regenerated. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dude, you're a monster. Hear me out. Obviously, we're not casting this until we have 8 mana, so we've already established a board at that point, right? So we probably have our commander out, we have a bunch of effects dealing a bunch of damage, and we've kind of like locked our opponents into this awful board state. The only thing that's keeping us from winning is maybe them attacking us, or gang attacking us, right? Or maybe they combo off, or maybe they, do their thing with their deck, right? Maybe they have an alternative win con that gets around what we're doing. Well, if we remove all their creatures, all their artifacts, and all their lands, that doesn't remove enchantments. So our commander stays on the battlefield, all of our enchantments stay on the battlefield, and now no one has any resources to stop what we're doing, and the game will just, it might take a couple turns, but everyone will die, right? Before they have the ability to play lands and do something about it, right? And again, we have like mana barbs and all those effects, so even those lands that they play to try to get back in the game will hurt them even more. So that's why it's in the deck. It goes with the theme of the deck, which is just disgusting Rakdos, but it actually is a viable win con. I usually don't play effects like this unless they're viable. Like, I'm not just going to throw in a land destruction spell unless it has like real... I'm not just going to blow up the lands, everyone's lands, and then be like, well, I don't know what to do now. This actually has real end game, potential. And what's probably going to happen is I'm going to cast a spell and everyone's going to scoop, right? I highly doubt everyone's going to sit there and be like, well, maybe we can battle back. I don't think that's going to happen. But the fact that this can't be countered is key, right? There's a lot of these effects that can be countered, or they say exile or remove from play. We don't want that. We want to destroy all the stuff we want to, get rid of, like creatures and artifacts and lands, but we want to keep all of our stuff. And then 35 mana land, 35 land mana base, all the best applicable lands that you could think of. I won't go through all of them. Some of them deal damage to players and whatnot, but it's essentially what you would expect out of a Rakdos mana base, and that's the deck. So if you haven't rage quit this video already and you're still watching, thanks for watching my video. I'm taking, like I said, I'm taking advantage of this this event. I don't own this deck, but it seemed really fun to me. It does say 101 in here. There's one or two cards that, or I guess it's just one card that extra in here. Not to worry, I'll fix that later, but all these cards are basically interchangeable, so it doesn't really matter which one I take out. But yeah, that's the deck. If you like this kind of content, hit subscribe. Let's get into the game. I feel like I've talked enough already. Alright, this is casual. Yeah, sure. I'm casual. I want the die roll? Yeah, I want to go first. Strip mine. Not ideal. This is not keepable. Mulligan this away. There we go. That's better. So we'll do this turn 1 because it comes into play tap. Turn 2. Hopefully we draw another land. Phyrexian Arena, we're off to the races. Deadly Rollick is a free, if we have our commander down, it is a free removal spell that exiles target creature. Yes, we drew a land. Okay, so turn 1. Pass. No possible plays. Yield all. Let's see who we're playing against. Cephris of the Hidden Ways. Esper Commander. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon. And then whenever you complete a dungeon, return any creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so like Dungeon Reanimator. Nice. Whenever you gain life, Amelia... oh yeah, this is the famous, or infamous, I guess I should say, 2-mana Orzhov commander that's big in Historic Brawl right now. Basically makes this... You make the creature huge, and then all sorts of fun Orzhov stuff comes off of that. Oh my god, 2 of them. There's 2 of the same commanders. That's crazy. Well, this should be interesting. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever played a commander game where there's 2 of the same deck. Oh, that's a problem. We can't have them gaining life. That's okay. We have cards that turn their life gain off. Or invert it, right? If they gain life, they actually lose that much life. Opponent says Oprah's life gain incoming. I don't know what that means. Are they talking about like the actual Oprah in real life? Or is that a card I don't know about? You gain life. You gain life. So next turn we're probably going to play... Let's play you. Get down Roiling Vortex. So unfortunately, we're dealing with... All these decks have white, which means they all theoretically could have enchantment removal. So that is a bummer. However... Hopefully, we're able to... Like, next time we're going to play Phyrexian Arena, hopefully we're able to outvalue them. We can deadly roll like one of these. If we get to Exquisite Blood, now whenever Roiling Vortex deals damage to each of these players, we gain that much life, so we can start to invert the... or break the symmetry of Roiling Vortex. And then if we get our commander down right before Exquisite Blood, then we gain 9 life a turn, because it's 3/3/3. Who are you attacking? Probably me. Yep. You will draw a lot of hate with this deck, so be prepared for that. I don't have any of my creature, you know, enchantment creature-based removal stuff, but we have plenty of that in the deck, so we just need to get Phyrexian Arena down. We'll start drawing into it. Once we get all our pieces down, it's going to be very, very difficult for all these players to interact with us. But they could have like an austere command, which totally blows us out. But you know, hey, if they have it, they have it. We can't prepare against every weakness of our deck. We just got to do our thing and hope it works. We'll auto yield to that trigger. Nykthos. Okay, that's cool. So what? I guess we play you. And you. And add double black and red. Black, black. Phyrexian Arena. They're all tapped out. I know this player is going to keep attacking me, but we'll see. The other thing I didn't mention in the intro is that, you know, if Mogis becomes a creature, like we have enough devotion to make it a creature, it's a 7/5 indestructible creature. So it's a pretty good blocker. When Trinket Mage enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal that card, put it into your hand. So revealed cards. They grabbed a land. Okay. So they obviously need mana. If I was this player, I don't know if I would attack me, but I guess that's the fair strategy because they all have stuff up. I might attack this player because they have the same deck as me. If I was this player, I might attack this player now. At least with my 5/5, because their decks are gonna bounce off each other and they're gonna have a hard time, you know, figuring that out. But I'll probably still get attacked all. That's just the way this deck works. We just need to draw into some board wipes and then we're fine. So how does this read again? Whenever you gain life, it explores, then destroy all their creatures if this power is exactly 20. Okay. Me, yep. Called it. See, again, I understand on the surface why they're attacking me, because maybe my board's the most developed and I have card draw and I'm doing damage, but I'm really not affecting them. I'm doing 1 damage a turn and their whole deck gains life. That's their whole strategy. So at this point in the game, I'm not sure why they're attacking me. They've attacked me for 8 damage already. Maybe they've had a bad experience against this deck before, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think the better play for this player would be to attack, at least on this last attack, to attack this player with their big creature. And if they want to poke me with the 1/1, that's fine. But they're basically letting these 2 players go unchecked. And this player gains a bunch of life too. So it would sort of make sense for them to start attacking this player down so that they can get ahead on life while this player falls behind. And then my deck would only help them with that, right? At this point in the game. Obviously later on when I have more of this stuff down, it's a different story, but this is an instant too, so we do have the option next turn of Nykthos hold up 4 mana to exile their 6/6 if they try to attack me again with it. Yeah, they didn't attack. They're going to hold it up as a blocker. Okay, drew some cards. Very cool. So I think we just hold up Deadly Rollick. because this is going to become like a potentially like a 10-10 next turn, and we can't take 10 to the face. Once we get Exquisite Blood down, then we're less worried about the damage we're taking, but this is also dealing commander damage. So it's not just the big creature, it's the commander damage we're worried about. Phantasmal Image. They're going to copy something on the battlefield. What are they going to copy? Okay. I think we can yield through this turn. I'm not worried about this turn. I'm worried about the Orzhov player's turn. I'm curious to see what my opponents do as well, because they've kind of spent these first couple turns setting up, which is, you know, normal. But once they start deploying stuff, I wonder who they're going to deploy it against. Am I the bigger threat at 29 life? Or is this player that is getting has like a 7/7, they're at 43 life, the bigger threat? I think just general threat assessment, this player is the one that's the archenemy of the table right now. But we'll see. You know, not every player thinks the way I do. Man, this is taking forever to resolve. Who's holding up the trigger? Okay, so they made a copy of Trinket Mage and they went and got a expedition map. Yes. Damn. You can't even activate it. I'm just kind of surprised at the artifacts they've been getting. Like, you wouldn't... They must not have a... They must not have, like, a mana crypt in their deck, because that's what I would go get, right? Doesn't it say 1 or less? Yeah, it says 1 or less. I would go get a mana crypt. Not an expedition map, but... normally, they would be like, oh, yeah, they're playing their budget deck. But right now, we're in the, you know, play any card you want event. So, why don't they have a, you know, a mana crypt in their deck? I don't know. Maybe they don't know the events going on. Okay, so we'll see who this guy attacks. We're only going to snap this Deadly Rollick if they attack me. I'm okay with them attacking other people, but they can't keep attacking me for, you know, 7+ commander damage each turn. Just can't have that. Protection from black and red. Well, that's a problem. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain 1 life. Okay, no big deal. We'll just board wipe that. So now if we exile this, they can't replay it this turn. They're still going to gain a bunch of value here, but once we exile their commander, if we exile their commander, they go back down to a board of 1/1s. So now they actually have to worry about people attacking them. I'm gonna wait to see who they attack. Tapping for a colorless. Okay, begin combat. They choose attackers. Who's this going to? It's going to that player. Okay, they're choosing this player. They see the open mana. They see the open mana. Okay, we'll let them do it. That helps us. There's no reason for us to snap our removal there. I did say we wouldn't snap this unless they came at us, so. Ooh, and that's exactly why we don't do it. They had the removal the whole time. Something I've learned the hard way in Commander is that don't use your removal or your resources unless you absolutely have to. Let other people use it. So, you know, in that situation, the player kept attacking me. I held up mana in case they attacked me again. And they chose not to attack me that time, which I think is correct on this player's part, by the way. I think it is right to attack this player, like I've been saying. But since the pressure isn't on us, we go, okay, you know, we're not going to snap our removal. Let's let this player play some of their spells. They got 7 cards in hand, right? So now we keep our removal. Their commander's still dead. This player wasted their Swords to Plowshares on their creature, because this Swords to Plowshares could hit our Mogis if it turns into a creature, if we have enough devotion, because it exiles, so it gets around the indestructible clause. So that's really like a 3-for-1 for us, and we didn't do anything. All we did was hold up mana. And now I feel pretty good about playing Exquisite Blood, or maybe our commander. Probably Exquisite Blood because we're low on life. But yeah. So this guy's just holding up mana, not doing anything. That's fine. Soul Ring, nice. Blood Crypt. Alright. So what do we do here? We can play Blood Crypt and have 5 mana. Play this and have 6 mana. So we won't be able to hold up our removal, but we don't really need it anymore. We can also get Nykthos down. So let's Blood Crypt. Yeah, we'll pay the 2 life. We will do it like this. cancel for now. We'll do this and this. Oh, I see. It has to be this. Okay. I guess I don't have enough mana. Alright, whatever. I thought I had enough mana to do both. I was going to play Harsh Mentor as well, but this is the more important card right now. I have one red remaining, but I can't do anything about it, so yield through turn. No possible plays. Yes, I know I'm losing a mana. Now we can play Mogis, and we'll start gaining 3 life per upkeep, so 9 life a turn. Cool. So next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see, I thought I had 7 this turn as well, but I must have misclicked or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah, I don't know. So we'll have it at least 7 with Nykthos down. We can play our commander and we can play Spell Shock. It's pretty good. We'll see what we draw for Phyrexian Arena. If we draw a board wipe, we'll probably just board wipe and play Mogis. And go from there. Time Twister. Ooh. Thank you. I'll take that. See, they are playing... Okay, there's no way they don't have Mana Crypt in their deck, but they have Time Twister. What? Time Twister is like a $700 card. It's on the reserve list. It's one of the Power 9. Oh. Oh, do we do it? Do we do it? Not yet. Not yet. Decree of Pain. Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you, opponent. Thank you. Dockside. Oh my goodness. Although there aren't that many artifacts. Enters battlefield. X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts to choose your opponent's control. Yeah. So, not a ton. Who are they attacking? Me. Yeah. Makes sense. Couple 2/2s. Unfortunately, we don't have an untapped land. So this will probably have to wait no matter what. But we could Decree of Pain them, and that would destroy everything. And we would have a Phyrexian Arena to draw out of it. Oh, that's so messed up. I think the Decree of Pain is better. The blue player is tapped out, so we're not going to deal with counter spells. And we get to draw cards off of this. Now I think it's 8 mana, so we might just have to cycle it for 5 and not get the card draw effect, but that's okay. Oh, they're going to destroy my Exquisite Blood. Okay, no problem. We have Crypt Incursion. Okay, they're going to gain life. 1 life each turn, upkeep. Interesting. Guess that's synergistic with her commander, that makes sense. Well, that gives us another artifact for Dockside. So what? Dockside's now going to get 1, 2... Are these artifacts? No. 1... Oh, this is an artifact. Right? It doesn't say... It just says artifacts, right? Artifacts and enchantments. Oh, it's and enchantments? Oh, wow. That's even crazier than I thought. Me. Yep. They're just 1/1s, though. Artifact. Yep, yield through turn. I have no blockers. Tapped. That's an artifact. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get 4 treasures. Not the greatest Dockside in the history of Docksides. We also have Jessica's Will. So we could add red mana for each card in the target opponent's hand. So we could add 8 or 7, depending on 9 red mana. If they have a way to keep all those cards in their hand. So yeah, I think we can do some stuff next turn. I think we can do some stuff. It's too bad they got rid of Exquisite Blood, but we could play Retreat to Hagra as well. That's incremental life gain. Now, what we have to ask ourselves, I think we Decree of Pain and draw a bunch of cards, right? I think we Jessica's Will, Decree of Pain. At the very minimum. Because these people are all attacking me now. So if they were attacking each other, I might not do that, but they're all attacking me. So they've made it clear that I'm the threat. They have no idea what's coming. Oh, they have no idea. They're all tapped out too. Oh, it's beautiful. Now, hopefully the blue player doesn't have a free counter in their hand. That would be very sad. But it is what it is. Okay, so 7 mana. So we'll lose 3. So we'll have 7 plus 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can do this for that. And have 3 mana left over to Crypt Incursion and gain a bunch of life if we want. We'll see what we draw. Signet, huh? Chaos Warp. All right. Well, now's the time. So, Painland, colorless. Red to add Rakdos. Jessica's Will. We'll do this opponent. Decree of Pain. Cast. We hold our breath. Yeah. Look at all these lands, though. I guess we haven't played a land for turn, huh? Land for turn? Mogis? Well, if I wasn't the archenemy before, I'm definitely the archenemy now. Let's get rid of these pain lands. We really don't need them. Pain. I don't think we need strip mine. I don't think we need arcane signet. Or canyon slaw. How many more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Erebos can go as well. Okay, so now we're doing 3 damage to each of them. We're not gaining life from Exquisite Blood because that's gone, but we are still doing 3 damage to each of our opponents. Now they're at pretty high life totals, but again, we have Blasphemous Act, we have Obliterate, we have Dockside Extortionist, we still got Phyrexian Arena cooking. We just need to draw into some of our absolute chokehold enchantments, and this game's a wrap. The one thing I'm worried about is one of these white players drawing Austere Command or tutoring up Austere Command. Okay, this gains them life, and it is an enchantment. So whenever, what does it say? Whenever a card is put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you may put a quest counter. Okay. So they're not going to get 3 quest counters until their next turn. Unless they have a way to deal damage on someone else's turn. Okay. What does this do? Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard... Oh, it's their commander. The Venture commander. If you're a Venture into the dungeon player, I mean, I think it's an okay mechanic, but I really feel like they're underpowered cards. Maybe someone can explain in the comments what they like about that mechanic. I personally don't, but... You know, I don't blame anyone for playing it. I just don't understand why people are attracted to playing that. It feels just like a really slow value engine that's not very good. But I understand there's some like the, I forget the name of them, but the mono black combo Venture to the Dungeon where like you play him and he comes back in your hand, and then you can like do that over and over and over again endlessly to like slowly ping everyone down 1 life at a time. That's different. I understand that's a combo, but just like straight up Venture value feels weird to me. Maybe someone can explain it to me. Side note, I love that Obliterate is white bordered. Like, I didn't choose that. I don't own this card. This is what the client chose during the free event. So it's just like extra extra salty because it's white bordered. I don't know how you all feel. I don't mind white bordered cards. In fact, I kind of like them. Sometimes if I want to get a card that I want to really pop in my paper commander deck, I'll get it in a white border, usually because it's cheaper, but also because I'm like, oh, it looks kind of cool. Like, it really makes it stand out. Look at all these cards in my hand with black border, and then like this one is the one that stands out like immediately. I don't know. Some people really hate black border or white border, but I don't mind it at all. I just know that it makes other people salty, so it makes it extra funny that if I cast this, they all have to look at my white border obliterate. Maybe they don't care either. I don't know. So, at this point, if we obliterate, we're doing 3 damage to them each turn. Probably not good enough at this point with their life totals at what they are. However, these all, like especially these 2 decks, gain a bunch of life. So I feel like we have to obliterate potentially just to keep these guys from negating our damage. Like this guy's at 46. This guy's at 31, but they kind of haven't been able to get going. Like they have a life gain effect here, they have a life gain effect here, this is a life gain effect. So that stuff is really going to get in the way of our deck. But I don't think it's right to obliterate here, just on principle. They have too high of a life total. So yes, if we obliterate, we're basically going to get like 3 turns of free damage because no one's going to be able to do anything to stop it. But we won't be able to do anything either. So how good is that? I think Retreat to Hagra might be a good card to play next turn. We could also Chaos Warp this. Although I'm afraid of what other card they'll pull off the top of their deck. But we have options next turn. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Draw 2. Take 2 damage. Getting low on life. It's kind of scary. Toxic Deluge is nice, although it costs us life to do it. They're tapped out again. The blue player's tapped out. So we could play... I think we need another black source. So we'll play the black source. Um, 1, 2, 3. So this costs 6 mana right now. Is that worth it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll have 1, 2, 3 left over for Retreat to Hagra. We could also Dockside Extortionist for 1, 2... Is this an artifact? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we can add 2 treasures. We can Crypt Incursion. There's a bunch of creatures in the graveyard, right? So that's pretty nice. I think we should probably just Blasphemous Act. Okay, so colorless. Colorless. Red. Actually, undo that one. Red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now all these guys' commanders are costing a lot more. They all each cost 6. We should Chaos Warp this thing before it flips. don't know what this does. They venture into the dungeon, I guess, a couple times. Okay. They're gonna make a treasure, so now we get 5 treasures if we cast Dockside. I mean, so we net 3 mana and have a blocker. Seems good. They could sack their treasure in response, but I don't think they're going to do that. Yep. Okay, 1. Oh, we have... Whoa, we have way more than I thought. I must have miscounted. Okay. All right. So... 1... Oh, we could do a couple things here. 1, 2, 3. Chaos Warp this. What does this do? Sacrifice a permanent, you gain 1 life. Sure. And then black. Do we Crypt Incursion? Who has the most creatures? Probably this guy, so we gain 3 life for each creature. This guy has 1, 2. Oh, they kept their commander in their graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. It's hard to read it from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we, so let's Crypt Incursion. You. Okay, gain a bunch of life. And yield through the turn. We also exiled all those creatures from their graveyard. We could have done that to their commander, but we needed the life. Now with Toxic Deluge is much more of an option. Make sure I have my, yeah. No possible play checked. Thran Dynamo, sure. Okay. Venture into the dungeon. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 as long as you've completed the dungeon. Yep. Makes sense. Next turn we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. Okay, so I think they return their commander to their hand. That's fine. I wonder why this is in their deck. Sacrifice a permanent, you gain 1 life. They have to pay mana to do that too? I mean, if it was sacrifice a permanent, you gain 1 life, and there wasn't a mana cost attached to it, I could see maybe that being a combo piece, but I don't see how that could combo with anything. Also, the combo would have to include them gaining life, which I really can't think of any combos that work when you gain life, except for maybe these 2 decks. And it's not really a combo, it's just value. I don't know, you tell me, chat. I've never seen this card do anything before, but it seems like a weird include. Cavernous Souls. Can't be countered. Cool art. Don't think I've seen that version. So once again, the blue player's tapped out. However, they do have 1 treasure open. So we can't expect... Well, for 1 mana, there's only a tiny amount of counter spells that would work against Toxic Deluge. Obviously, Obliterate cannot be countered. Buried Alive. Okay, they're going to put cards in their graveyard. I have a playset of these in real life. Really great in a Reanimator deck. So they get to they search the library for 3 creatures, put them in their graveyard. So they can put their 3 most broken creatures into their graveyard. It could really be anything. This isn't a Reanimator deck. This one's more the Reanimator deck, so I'm curious what they're going to grab. But maybe they have a Reanimator sub-theme we just haven't seen yet. Sometimes there's creatures that have effects when they're in the graveyard. Like, I know it's red, but the card Anger gives all your creatures haste as long as it's in the graveyard. I think it's called Anger, right? Anger. So maybe there's a Orzhov creature that, you know, either a black or white or both creature that has the same kind of, you know, has an effect when they're in the graveyard. We'll see real quick. Okay, yeah, so this does, except, oh, it has Unearth. Gotcha. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 on each creature you control. Okay, so they picked their, like, best 3 synergistic creatures. Okay, well, that's a problem, because Obliterate doesn't get rid of this. And this does gain them life. However, they are tapped out. Toxic Deluge gets rid of it if it ever becomes a creature. So we might want to wait. It becomes a creature if you have 5. Yeah, less than 5. And right now they have 1 devotion to white. So it might take them a minute to get some devotion back. I'm petrified of an austere command. That would really wreck us. It would Mogis would survive it, but everything else would die. We'll see what we get off this Phyrexian arena. I really don't want to be the player that obliterates and then, like, you know, they're at such a high life total that they just wait it out and get back in the game. But they might force my hand with some of this stuff. There's a surprising amount of life gain in these decks. I mean, I know these two, that's their whole strategy, so that's in a direct conflict with what we're trying to do, but I'm surprised this deck has life gain as well, like this random artifact. It's pretty weird. I mean, I know it's only 1 life, but we're a burn deck. All the life matters to us. Okay, they replay their commander for 6 mana. Yep. Seems good. They're like, there's no possible way that the red and black player has any more board wipes, right? Nah. No more. They're down to 26. See what we draw. Players holding priority for some reason. Just auto yield, buddy. Well, maybe they did, and then MTGO did its famous undoing of the auto yield. Does it to me all the time. All right, there we go. Languish. All right. That also, well, it doesn't get rid of Heliod. I think we just... Okay. So what do we do here? We're down to 26. We do have enough to retreat to Hagra and obliterate if we really want to. Do we just do it? I think that makes everyone scoop, right? I mean, if we're not memeing, what are we doing, right? So let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8 plus 3. Yes. Okay. So we don't play the land before we obliterate. Crack this for red. Red. Black. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Red, right? 6. 6, 7. Oh, we don't have enough. Okay. Hold up. Well, I mean, we can just play the land and we have enough. We have enough now where we have a 7/5 as well. Oh, this is rough. I really wanted to play our land after we'd obliterated. So maybe we wait one more turn. I don't think we can die next turn cycle. So let's play the land. Gain a life, drain everyone else. Okay. Go to attacks. Attack you, because they have the highest life total. Okay. We can still obliterate. I think it might still be the right call. I really wanted to save that that land, but it is what it is. Okay. I think it's also important to do it while everyone's tapped out, because someone could in response exile our commander, which would be really annoying. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, but I'm really not. Eh? Oh, man. They got to keep their artifact land because it's indestructible, so that's good for them. I guess Dockside was giving us our last devotion. Well, if we lose from... What a waste of time. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Disconnected. Bye. Like I said, I didn't expect people to actually play through the Obliterate. I fully expected them to just scoop it up. Nice. Yep. I think all my opponents are gone except for this guy. Although I thought I saw his, I thought I saw the thing say that he left too. Well, we'll just keep doing our thing. Yep. Drain them out. Next turn we'll have Vial Smasher, so we can get our Mogis back as a creature. And start smashing their face. We have 3 board wipes in hand. I think they've disconnected already, but we're just going to assume they're still here, since the client is saying they're still here. How do you feel like about effects like Obliterate? I know if you cast them as like a meme, it can be frustrating, especially if you, like, let's change the context here. Let's say that you don't get to play Commander that often. You went to your local game store, you get to do it like once a month. You're excited to play Commander. You get through a game like this one, which had, you know, they got to play lots of stuff. We got to turn 8 or whatever, and then someone casts an Obliterate. It doesn't win them the game on the spot, but it's basically like what we showed here, where you could see the writing on the wall, right? So I mean, I can tell you what I would think. I would laugh, and I would go, "Wow, like, you know, GG, brother, like, you did it, you know, scoop it up, let's play again." A lot of other people would be like, mad, right? So you tell me how you feel. I'm a pretty casual person, and I think the stuff like that is where you should, like Commander, that's what that format's for, is for, you know, doing things like that. The only thing I say is there's like a sort of thin line in the sand where don't just put like Armageddon in your deck for no reason. Like, don't turn 4 Armageddon and then just laugh and have no way to like win from there. If you, here, I'll give you an example. If you're an artifact deck and you play a lot of mana rocks and then you Armageddon, and let's say you don't win on the spot, but I look at your board, I'm like, well, you still have 10 mana because of all your artifact mana sources. None of us at the table have mana anymore. You're probably going to win, right? I just look at them and go like, all right, cool, you got us, you know? Like, way to build around Armageddon. And I just, you know, just scoop it up, you know, dap them up, give them the GG, and play again. It's a game, guys, right? But how do you feel? I'm curious. I'm curious how you guys feel in the chat. I think our opponent is roping us out. So we'll just talk about the deck. Let me go back to the deck list. So, Mogis. You don't have to build Mogis this way. You can build him with more effects like this Parasite here. It's a creature. This is in the deck, but it's a 1 mana. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if you control a red permanent, you may have this creature deal 1 damage to that player, right? So you can build around like creature-based, you know, pinging and damage effects, and those are all really good too. I just built mine around enchantments. I think if we go back to organize by type, and we sort by texts, yeah, we have 27 enchantments in the deck. So this deck is really enchantment focused, and the nice thing about enchantments is that if you board wipe like you know, your typical like Blood on the Snow or Damnation or whatever, they're not affected by that. So you could also build this around planeswalkers and other permanents that don't get, or artifacts that don't get affected by board wipes. But black and red also don't deal with enchantments. There's like no mass enchantment removal in those colors. So effects like Obliterate, right, don't touch all of our enchantments, or Vandal Blast, right? We can Vandal Blast and all of our enchantments are safe. So that was the logic behind the deck, was to nice. We won the game. GG. Hold on, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Okay. Yeah, GG. So this player was not happy. What a waste of time, they say. I say that I understand when you go to an LGS and you know, you're you know, married, you have kids, you've carved out a tiny little piece of your weekend that you can go play Commander. Maybe you can only get in 1 game and then someone plays Obliterate and that's your weekend, right? I get why that's frustrating. I don't get why on Magic the Gathering Online, where you can literally just jump into another game immediately, why people would be salty about that, especially because I presented it in a way that would win the game, right? We obviously were going to outvalue all our opponents from then on. So, I mean, we had 2 board wipes in hand and another board wipe that we drew. So, I mean, they didn't know that, but like, we were just going to continue to board wipe. And I think we presented that as like the game had gone on. It's like, oh, this guy's just going to like mass board wipe. You know, every time we play something, they're going to mass board wipe. So the rest of the game is probably going to be them mass board wiping, like, while they slowly ping us to death. Okay, cool. I think they got it, right? So I don't know, you let me know how you feel, but it's the only card in the deck that does that effect. There's literally no other card in this deck that destroys all lands or destroys all artifacts and lands, you know what I mean? We have a Vandal Blast, but that's just artifacts. Everything else is like Blasphemous Act or Blood on the Snow or Damnation, Decree of Pain, right? They're board wipes that just affect creatures. So I think it's funny that we drew the only card in our deck that does that, and I'm pretty happy that I got to show it in a video. I didn't think I'd actually, I mean, there's 100 cards in my deck. What's the chances of me drawing it, right? But also, what's the chances of me drawing it in a situation where I could actually cast it, right? I mean, a lot of the times you end up, you draw your 8 mana spell on turn 3 and you're like, okay, cool, what am I going to do with this? But I actually drew it on curve, which was, or maybe like a turn before I could play it. Pretty happy about that. Let's get back to the deck itself. So, yeah, I think you guys understand, you know, how the deck's supposed to work. It's basically just a bunch of enchantments that put the opponents in a bind, right? We didn't even get that many down, and you could see already how effective it was. It was doing 3 damage a turn. That one player had to get rid of our Exquisite Blood, because you could imagine, like, oh, if that damage kept going, then we would just gain all that life, and it would be almost impossible for them to, you know, attack us down through that, except for maybe with commander damage from that one commander that was growing really big. We also have exsanguinate. Is that how you say that? Exsanguinate. You know, each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. I mean, it's similar to Great Merchant of Asphodel. It's just a sorcery, and we have to pay mana for X. But, you know, let's say we had drawn that before we cast Obliterate. Well, we would have drained everyone for what, like 9? So 9, 9, 9, and then we would have gained 9 times 3, 27, right? I mean, you know, anyway, so there's a bunch of effects in this deck that do those types of things. And a lot of them gain us life back. Exquisite Blood wasn't the only one, although that's probably the best one because it's an enchantment and it's static. But this deck tries to do a bunch of damage to everybody, and then we break the symmetry with our Exquisite Bloods and our Exsanguinates and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's the whole deck. So let me know if you like the video. Mogis got a slaughter, super underrated, group slug type commander, very cheap too. I mean, this deck is very, you know, no holds barred. Like I went all out on all the different effects, and it looks like you could buy it on Card Kingdom for $100. I mean, that's a $100 commander deck that's like souped up. I mean, this has Mana Crypt in it. So that's got to be like 75% of the cost, right? So the rest of the deck, all the other 99 cards are like $25. That can't be right because Shieldred's in here too. But, oh, I see. It's just that one card. Okay, what's the total deck cost? Sorry, I messed that up. What's the total deck cost? Does it tell me that? No, it doesn't. It doesn't tell me. Well, don't go off what I said then. Never mind. Oh, here it is. It's $1,400. Never mind. Never mind. Got that one wrong. Got that one wrong. Erase that point from your brain. But you can build Mogis in a non crazy expensive way. I just did it like this because of the free event on Magic the Gathering Online. But, you know, like Cardur here, excuse me, Cardur here is what I'm trying to say. This card is only 79 cents, but it goads all your opponent's creatures. I mean, that's insane. And then it has the static ability of whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I mean, that's awesome. Great Merchant of Asphodel. It's not really $1.50. I'm sure you could find this. It's a common. They've reprinted it a bunch. I'm sure you could find it super cheap, right? I own this card in paper. It's $16. That's fucking insane. I don't think it costs that much, but yeah, Obliterate's $2. I mean, hey, Extinction Event 79 cents. You know, Blasphemous Act is really like $1. These prices aren't accurate. I've looked up these prices before, but a lot of the foundation of this deck is cheap. You can obviously Mana Crypt and Shieldred, and I think Orcish Bowmasters is in here, maybe. yeah, you know, those cards are expensive, but the foundation of the deck is not that bad. So if you like the video, you know, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if I am just the worst person in the world, or if you thoroughly enjoyed me obliterating our opponents, no pun intended. If you haven't already, subscribe. If you've been watching my channel, you like my content, subscribe. Helps me out. The more people that like my stuff, the more content I can make. I did say that if I hit 500 subs, I'll start doing a webcam, you know? I'll start doing, you'll see my ugly ass face on camera. So if you're excited about that, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your input. If you have a commander you'd like me to play at some point, drop a comment, let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you guys in the next one. Later.